Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Hello peeps, welcome back to the 5th installment of the Thanksgiving leftover hacks. I don't know if I should be depressed that I'm still doing this shit, or happy that you guys are still watching. Either way, we've made some really amazing recipes for these videos over the years, and this year should be no different. I'm headed back to that original BuzzFeed article from 2015, and I'm gonna pick out their turkey pot pie, and then pair that up with another recipe that I was recently suggested by my friend Lindsay, the Thanksgiving leftover lasagna. So for the 5th year in a row, let's get right into this one. To be fully transparent, I'm much more looking forward to this lasagna because I even have a few tricks up my sleeve when I get to it. The pot pie is going to go first today, but before I can get into either one, I gotta give a huge shout out to my friends over at Surfshark VPN. Surfshark has been such a great supporter of the channel, so I am thrilled that they're back today. And if you are unfamiliar, Surfshark VPN helps protect you and your data by securely connecting you to the internet, hiding your IP address, and protecting your data by sending it through an encrypted tunnel. In addition to keeping your private information private, Surfshark allows you to browse the internet without ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts. In other words, if you've ever been a stupid like me and clicked on a link that infected your computer and made your private information vulnerable, you're not alone. Surfshark has got your back. And that's not all. Surfshark also allows you to unlock blocked content that's not available in your area, such as content on YouTube or Netflix. There's a ton of great shows that aren't available in the US, but with Surfshark I can set my country to whichever one I'd like and make them available to me. So if you want to better protect yourself, Surfshark has an amazing deal for you guys. If you click the link in the top line of the description and enter code Seymour, you can get 84% off plus 4 months free. And if you're somehow still on the fence, right now they're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to try it out for yourself. And once again, thank you so much to Surfshark for making today's video possible. But alright, let's do this thing. To make the pot pies, I grabbed some white wine and puff pastry, whole milk and flour, a stick of butter and some mushrooms, a yellow onion, an egg, some leftover turkey, fresh thyme, and fresh garlic. To be honest, yes, I am once again filming this prior to Thanksgiving, so I had to come up with my own leftovers. Yes, I'm gonna use this roasted chicken. The flavor profile will be slightly different, but for our purposes, it'll work just fine. And while I'm getting all this prep work out of the way, let's just have a little chat. I feel like we haven't just sat down and talked in a while. So I hope you're all doing well. Yes, I did go MIA again last week, but that is because I had a little bit of a beer virus scare. I was feeling pretty crappy, so I isolated myself away from civilization, including my camera equipment, and that's why I missed a video. But we're all good now. The test came back negative. I'm just dealing with a little stuffy nose at this point. I will live. I hope all of you are hanging in there and being safe too. Getting back to the reason you clicked on the video though, this recipe, once I got basically everything in the pan and the filling was looking pretty good, I rolled out my puff pastry and we're actually going to double layer the tops of these. That's a little secret. If you're making any kind of pot pie with pastry on top, it will hopefully rise even higher and get nice and golden brown. For the life of me, I cannot find my damn ramekins that I used for the creme brulee recipes a while back. You know, those 4 different colored ones, so I have to use these clear glass soup bowls. I'm sure they will work just fine. I'm just being dramatic here. So I baked them in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And these came out smelling so good. The middles didn't rise too much. I think I didn't put enough filling in, or maybe even a little bit too much egg wash was on there. But nevertheless, I'm sure they'll taste amazing, so let's give them a shot. I know this rose like really weirdly, but cannot beat that sound. I guess this is a really good test of Twisted's oven mitt that they sent me. Just leave a scalding hot glass container on it and see how long it takes to start burning. Oh wow. I rarely ever make them, but pot pies are so damn good. It's such a good comfort food. And it's another recipe too, growing up seemed so like complex and unattainable and just like really involved, but with the addition of like mushrooms, some white wine, and spices, you get such like a deep, interesting, like umami, delicious flavor. Yeah, this is really great. I'd recommend using a better white wine. All I had was Chardonnay. That's not really the best to cook with. Use like a Pinot Grigio or something. But other than that, this is delicious. Next up today, we've got the Thanksgiving leftover lasagna, and I am going to take some inspiration from this video, but for the majority of it, it's just coming from my brain. I collected some lasagna noodles and leftover stuffing, ricotta cheese and low moisture mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, leftover turkey chicken, mashed potatoes, an egg, some gravy, cheddar cheese, butter, and fresh basil. My biggest gripe with that recipe from Delish was the fact that it's not a lasagna. They just kind of layer all your leftovers in, and it comes out looking like a big spoon of like slop when you try to serve it. I want this to be a full-fledged lasagna with the noodles, with the ricotta and mozzarella. It just so happens to include a lot of foods you'd find on a Thanksgiving table. I shredded up my cheddar and added it to the potatoes with an egg and some spices. I boiled off my lasagna noodles and then shredded up my mozzarella. Before you complain that this isn't fresh mozzarella, I always prefer using low moisture bricks for applications like this because it doesn't give so much liquid off and turn your pizza, lasagna, baked ziti, whatever you're making, into a big old soup. The last component of this is the ricotta cheese mixture with some basil, egg, spices, and I almost forgot some fresh Parmesan. A lot of people like to use a bechamel instead of this, including the super traditional Italian lasagnas. It's just not the way I grew up eating it. You can make it however your heart desires though. And finally, we can start layering this thing up after we get a nice slab of butter and breadcrumbs in here. This might not be completely necessary, but I'm thinking it'll prevent some sticking on the sides because of all that cheese and mashed potato in there. But it'll also add a little crunch because once combined, this entire thing is pretty much just gonna be one homogeneous, mushy texture. As far as the layering goes, there's really no rhyme or reason here. I just did whatever felt right. There's a lot of stuff to fit in here, so I did 2 layers of noodles, 2 or 3 layers of turkey, I honestly forgot. I baked this guy off at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Remember, you're not cooking anything here. You're just warming it all up and allowing all those cheeses and stuff to melt together. If this recipe comes out as good as I think it might, it will most definitely be a staple for years to come, so let's give it a shot. In hindsight, I probably should have waited to cut into this. I cut it almost immediately as it came out of the oven. But like, who cares? It's gonna taste the same. It smells so good. I've only taken the 1 bite, and I already know this is a winner. Some of these ingredients are combinations I've never experienced before, but the flavors just seem so like natural and normal. If you actually want to make this, I'd say the most important thing is make sure your potatoes are super heavily seasoned because that's going to carry everything else. The center cuts of turkey are super bland. The pasta is obviously bland. Make sure you got plenty of salt and pepper, maybe some like thyme or rosemary, garlic, butter in those potatoes, and you're going to have yourself a really good meal because this on its own is already pretty incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrated it. Hope you're all staying safe. We're getting through this year together. Follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you do not already. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.